Shakespearean shenanigans, legends of thirst trappery, and Patti LaBelle, y'all. Patti LaBelle. This is a Black Lady sketch show here at AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers! Hello. We are back with another A Black Lady sketch show after show at AfterBuzz TV. Yes. I was gone for 2 weeks, but I'm back. I am one of your hosts, Nikki Bailey, and I am here with NeedmSkye.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, guys. Oh my gosh, this episode was so good. We're on episode 4. Where are my background singers? A question I ask myself every day. I do.
Listen.
That is my fantasy, to actually have a group of background singers. I want a gospel choir to follow me around and just sing back up to everything I do.
It is. It's called your subconscious.
My subconscious. Yeah. I want it out loud, though.
It's called The Angel and the Demon.
All right. Okay, so we are getting into it today. We're gonna go through all the sketches. We got our special segment. We got news. We got predictions, although we don't predict things for this show because it's a sketch show and we don't know what's going to happen next. But anyway, we're so excited. Nima.
Yes.
Overall impressions of this episode 4.
I feel like this show just keeps getting better and better. So, I mean, every time I watch it, I'm like, I would have never thought that they were going to go there. I mean, definitely like the Black Lady sketch show is not your traditional sketch show. Like, there's so many different variations that they are really like, getting into and just making fun of Black culture and just things that we do, you know, like you do with your girls, especially the event. There's just so much going on that I'm always excited every time I watch it.
Me too. I'm always excited and jealous that I'm not on it. And also excited. I look forward to watching this show, and I need it to be, matter of fact, my roommate who is watching us right now has watched every episode of this show at least 5 times so far.
Oh, Lord.
We are that serious about it. So let's get down to it. We open up this episode with a sketch called Tough on Drugs that we think is about...
Well, I mean, first of all, I feel like it was kind of like a Black scary movie because I was so confused. I'm like, okay, they're all having fun, and the girls, well, first of all, they're smoking shrooms.
No, you don't smoke shrooms. You eat them.
Okay.
You eat shrooms.
Well, listen, clearly I don't do drugs, so I don't know. So, disclaimer, hello, somebody. But
I know that because I read about it.
But she says her hair's burning and she wants to call the cops. And she's like, oh, no, you're not going to call the cops.
But what I love is there's always that friend who, if you're in the midst of some shady nonsense, you always have that one girl in your crew who is thinking about things, right? She is always the one who is like, y'all, we can't do that. That's not gonna work. But what I loved is that she stopped things in a way that was just, she tied up poor Tia Mowry.
That was funny. She was just like, listen, you need to be quiet. You need to be quiet. Okay. And then like the funniest thing she said is that I'm not about to go to jail because somebody else is smoking weed.
Smoking weed, right.
And I'm like, wait, I thought everybody in the room is smoking weed. So it's just like she
was not about that life. But I loved it. And what I loved the most is that the reveal at the end is that this is actually an ad for Katie Campbell for city council because she's tough on drugs. She's so tough on drugs that she will tie up her friends, shoot a man, make someone get hit by a car, and then bury the body, sink the bodies in a river. I mean, that's a hardcore city council person.
I feel like it was a two-way street because she was like, she wanted you to see that she was heroic, but she also wanted you to see that the people who actually try to go for these politics, they're probably criminals too. I felt like
subtext.
I felt like it was like an underlying, like, yeah, the politicians are really like.
She's like, they all criminals.
Right? They're all criminals, right? Like at the end of the day, they're gonna take their friends down. Like that's just what it is.
I love it, and I love so in comedy when you have like a sudden, it's called a turn, right? So that at the end of the sketch, it's a really happy city council ad. That's just genius.
It is.
And so what I love about this show is that, you know, they've seen all the sketch comedy shows that have come before them. And they're like, oh, that's cute that y'all did that. But we're going to do it like Black women. and it's so much better than everything else. I'm just gonna say it. I'm owning it.
I feel like this is like your SNL that's not quite live. It's scripted.
Right. It's Key and Peele, but with Black women sensibility, and I'm so happy. I'm here for it. And I also love that they borrow from Jordan Peele quite a bit, because that whole Scary Movie vibe was very Jordan Peele-ish.
I was like, literally, I was like, this is so Scary Movie, but then at the same time, it was almost like, what was that movie with the Wayans? Don't be a menace to society. Roger, can you just in the hood? Okay, yes. I just wanted to say that I feel like they've taken so many different aspects of different like other
black movies and black shows that
we've already seen, and they're like making fun of it, and like they're putting it all together. And then I was like, it was also kind of like, okay, well, how would a Black person act if this was a scary movie? I literally, because you know how people always say, well, you know, if I was in a scary movie, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But it's like, what's more scarier than you having a moment, you know, you getting high and your friend is like,
tripping.
Oh, what? Like, you about to call the cops? Or we about to shoot you and you going down?
Here's the one Black person who did the thing that I would do was the one who left.
Right. It's just like, why am I shooting you?
She was like, I'm gonna just sneak out the door. Peace out.
But the thing about it is that she didn't sneak out. She just literally just walked out the door
and was allowed to. I loved it. Yeah. So.
But I also think that was kind of a message where I'm
gonna get you later.
Like, you know, you can just walk out though, right?
All right. So let's go on to the running sort of container for the show is the idea that these 4 women have survived the apocalypse and are just hanging out in one of their homes until whenever, and this is what transpires. So the first apocalypse clip, because that's what we're seeing every time, every episode.
What's called the event?
The first apocalypse clip, they're playing Uno. Now, one of the first things that is asked is, are we playing just regular Uno or are we playing triples and doubles? That is because Black people have our own rules to every game ever invented.
Which means that whoever is the person initiating the game is the person
who can call the rules.
Who can call the rules.
Yeah. So you might read the instructions on Uno, but that's not how we play.
But see, it's also like, if I brought the cards in, we're playing Uno the way that I want to play Uno. Like, that's just, like, that's college, that's, getting together with your family, getting together with your girls.
But it's true for every kind of game we play. So so if it's spades, if it's dominoes, like we all and not only do Black people have our own rules for it, but the rules are specific to your family, right? So my family does spades differently than we used to play Pacino in my family. We play that. I don't know if people even play Pacino anymore, but we do it differently than other people. So just as your education for the Black people in your life, you should know, just because the box says that you can't Uno on a draw 4, don't mean that we play it that way.
I just feel like that's everybody's way of playing Uno. Right. It just doesn't matter. That's just something that you do with your girls. It's like for talk. Because even though they were playing Uno, they were clearly having other conversations outside of Uno.
And what I love, though, is that this opened, the thing that it started was this conversation about, is this the hill you want to die on? Do you want to die on the hill of these are the rules for Uno? And then Ashley Nicole Brown tells this entire story about Baldwin Hills, which
she really brought me in, because I was like, oh my God. I go past Baldwin Hills and I'm like, are you serious? I was like, shut up. The fault line. I was really all into the story. And then when I realized she was just
trying to get Uno. That's all.
Like, Uno. I was like, you know what? That's always somebody who's got a little trick up the sleeve and just gonna try to tell you something. But I mean, I thought it was very interesting. And then out of all hills, she decided to choose Baldwin Hills.
To Baldwin Hills.
Yes.
Which is down the street from where we are. Right. But that didn't happen. That's not the history of Baldwin Hills. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But
I mean, a little bit, because
some of it is.
I know it is known, especially back in the 70s and 60s, it was a Black affluent neighborhood.
Right.
And it still is.
It is, yeah. It's considered sort of the
Beverly Hills.
Middle class of the middle class Black neighborhood in LA. So, but what I loved is the whole, because they come back to it again, this whole, is this the hill you want to die on? Is this the argument that you want to die making? And so we're going to come back to that, because then they get into a new sketch called Romeo and Julissa.
Oh my gosh, listen.
Okay.
Before we get into that though.
Please.
I do want to say, I want to thank you guys for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. Right now, we could use your help. If you are on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. And not just that, subscribe. But if you're listening through iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter what you do, make sure you leave your comments, because that is what helps us do what we do every Sunday, every Monday, every day of the week. Myself, my co-host, and the whole AfterBuzz family would not be here without you and without your continued support. So please continue to keep supporting us. Make those comments, subscribe, push that button, 5 stars, and keep us alive.
Woo! We love you guys. Oh my God. Okay, so Romeo and Julissa.
Oh Lord.
So what I loved about this sketch, it's obviously a take on Romeo and Juliet. And they did like hashtag Bard, hashtag Barty Bang, because Shakespeare's called the Bard.
But it was Cardi B and like Offset. They should have just called it Cardi B and Offset. Like, because they made so many different references to Cardi B.
They really did.
And then I love how when they died, it was a social media die.
Yeah, it was right. It was social media suicide, not actual suicide, because I have long believed that Romeo and Juliet, the way it ends, where they both die, is the dumbest thing ever. So I love that they were like, no, they can't really die. Let's make it social media.
We're gonna kill each other
suicide
on social media, and then, but I feel like it was a message in that, right? Because I feel like it was saying that a lot of us live our relationships through social media, and it's just like, well, let's just die to the world and let it just be me and you.
Yeah,
you know, which is not.
Why do we have to have all of our relationship business be on the gram?
Right. You know, I mean, that's the whole millennial thing. But then I also kind of felt like they showed the beef between Cardi and Nicki Minaj, and then they kind of like threw Offset around there.
They did.
That was like absolutely hilarious.
It was so funny, and I love that they basically found a way to Shakespeareize Ebonics.
That was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Super brilliant. Like the language in it.
It was in iambic pentameter, which all of Shakespeare is written in.
Right.
And it was brilliant. My favorite line that Tyler James Williams, who played Rome, who was obviously Chris from Everybody Hates Chris, he says, "If your love is true, catch these L's caught for you."
Yo, it was like
Come
bars.
on.
Okay, it was more of like the Shakespearean cipher is what I feel.
It really was. It was so
because they were
perfect.
just dropping like so many different bars.
And you really, if you didn't catch them all, you need to rewatch that sketch, because there are so many. Every single line that they speak is a reference to something, or
something happening in hip hop, or just like our culture, you know.
It's so good. So rewatch that sketch, because to catch everything, because it happens. One of the challenges of doing Shakespeare is to sound natural while you're doing it, and they sound so natural,
supernatural.
But you guys rewatch it so you can catch all those references. Okay, the next sketch, the Negro League groupies.
Oh, you know what? I was just bawling laughing at this particular part, because it's just, I mean, of course, you never think, like, where did the whole idea of groupie came? Like, just being a groupie. But it was funny because, of course, like the 2019 or we're getting ready to say 2020 groupies, it's like, of course, like, you know, we're wearing tight things. But at the end of the day, I think that they were really trying to expose, like, what is the idea of a groupie, right? It's not necessarily how you dress, but it's really about how you carry yourself, right?
I think, and that also, I think it's about like, can you lay a thirst trap that is undeniable?
Listen, with your clothes on, like fully dressed. Like these women were fully dressed.
And these three women, right? They were like, we don't have to show a lot of skin to do it.
We could just be manipulative.
You know,
like literally.
I also loved, I mean, the idea of sort of giving us a historical perspective on being a groupie, on this whole thirst trappery, is the idea that, like, you know, that black people, black women in particular, we so often are the trendsetters. We create culture. And so I love the idea that we're getting a historical perspective on this idea that, of course, we created. Another thing we invented that we need credit for. So,
but see, I also love how, like, in the sketch they were talking about, they were like referring to another guy, because I guess, you know, Satchel Paige, which is so, like, they use actual people, you know, from, you know, back then, who, you know, of course we they're like historic figures,
right?
But I like how he said something about it was Jeff somebody, right? I cannot remember, but they basically referenced, because at first he was like, listen, my wife is gonna catch me, I wonder what she'll think, and then they brought up the guy's name. He was like, you know what, forget him, I got all y'all, I'm bringing all y'all in. And it's just so funny how, again, I think that they expose the idea of, this is the mindset of a groupie. Like, you can be a groupie. Like, you can look any kind of way. A groupie is not just, you know, how people have always tried to perceive groupies as being. But then it's like, listen, we are in the 2019 Smithsonian Museum, because this is like, look, this is an art. Being a groupie is an art at this point.
And right, yes, maybe you do look like Feather Atwood with the beautiful, like, whatever. But also, you know what were their names? Daffodil Dunham and Perlina Tea Tree. First of all, how did you make Natasha Rothwell look ugly? She's not. She's like one of the most beautiful women in the world. And what?
But she played the part. Though.
Oh my God,
she did an
it was
amazing
so
job.
funny.
And Issa, of course, Issa's our girl. We love Issa.
We are like, we stand. Issa is just. We bow down.
The line, she's like, listen, I know how to get her to do all of this, just so you're gonna find a way to make sure we get on that bus.
We're getting on that bus. So I loved it. And then the fact that it was called the Hall of Hustlery and Scamitude, and their pictures were hanging there as like the pioneers.
Hustlery and Scamitude.
Hustlery and Scamitude, because not only do we create culture, but we create language. Yes. I am using Scamitude from now on.
Scamitude and hustlery. Because at the end of the day, it's all about I think the idea, of course, we think groupies are like a bad thing, but at the end of the day, I really feel like it's all about survival. And I feel like these women who decide to be groupies, just whatever, it's all about, I need to get what I can get so that I can be able to survive. And
it's also making fun of the whole idea that women are gold diggers, and every hip hop song since there was hip hop is like, I ain't saying she a gold, like they're all about, those gold digging hoes and bitches, which is why I stopped listening to hip hop in 1987. But anyway,
listen, not all hip hop is bad, okay?
Not all of it is, and I can't say that's true. But what I love is that it makes fun of that idea by showing like, look, there is an art to this. Like, right. To these women who are out here doing their getting their sugar baby life on, there is an art to this, and it goes back to the roots of, like tracing our roots back to where things really came from. So don't sleep on Black culture. Listen, it's historical.
Did you guys take your notes though? Like, I'll just wait.
We high-fived on that,
listen,
right?
Okay.
Did you catch any new things you could use in your hustlery and scamitude?
Again, I'm gonna say this. It's like she basically made the guy feel bad, because she was comparing him to another man. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when a man is all in his ego, it's like when you compare him to somebody else who he sees as his competition, right. He's gonna give you what you want. Mm-hmm.
Lesson learned, people. Uh-oh. Lesson learned. Okay, so now we wrapped up Negro League groupies. So now we're on the next apocalypse conversation. And in this one, they're still talking about, what is this hill you're going to die on, right? So like, what is the thing you're going to argue about till the end? And Quinta's argument that I 100% agree with, and we could talk about this.
Okay, let's talk about
100% agree with, which is that lemon does not belong in cake. Nor, I will add, do any other vegetables such as carrot or zucchini, nor does any chocolate and mint combination belong in a dessert, except for maybe the occasional junior mint. Neema, your thoughts?
Okay, I have to disagree because I love lemon. Like, I'm like a citrus girl. I love lemon. I love anything that's lemon. And at the end of the day, I feel like fruits and all these other things, especially whenever you have a certain lifestyle of how you eat, like this vegan lifestyle, this no sugar, whatever, I feel like people tend to be able to create things out of stuff that they love. So I feel like, yeah, you can put lemon in the cake. Why not?
It's wrong.
If you could, listen, you could... If you're a creative person and you really know how to cook, that's like Black culture, right? Like, at the end of the day, we try to make a carrot cake, a chocolate cake, a sweet potato pie, whether it's vegetable or fruit. we've always found ways to be able to try to cook and make this with love. So, I mean, personally, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, a lemon cake is totally
I'm going to agree on the cultural significance of how Black people can make anything delicious. Yes. That is just true. I mean, part of why we ended up eating chitlins is because that was the part of the pig that was left over, and we made that delicious. I don't eat chitlins though. I don't mess with those. But anyway,
me either.
But all of these things that we, like, we could take something that is not traditionally dessert-like and make it into dessert. However, I think lemon cake is dumb. Thank you, Quinta B. Moving on.
I love lemon cake. Okay, so all you lemon cake people out there, okay, with the lemon cake ice. Listen, if you're not supposed to, but then why do they make it in the stores? Okay, Betty Crocker, all of these other companies,
Yeah. See, even people in the chat are like, no lemon. Wait,
no lemon?
No, girl, what? No lemon. Yeah, I'm saying, right?
You guys are against lemons? Okay,
We're against the lemon. Thank you for having my back, people in the chat.
Hey, I need like people who love lemons to say something in the chat because, we need to be on the same team.
And listen,
moving
this
on.
is Josh in the booth right here. You can't go wrong with mint chocolate chip either. Ice cream. That's
amazing.
Josh.
Mint chocolate chip. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Mint chocolate chip is disgusting. It tastes like ice. It tastes like the mint chocolate chip ice cream tastes like toothpaste. There's no point.
But think about it this way. What if you were to make ice cream out of Junior Mints? Isn't that essentially what mint chocolate chip ice cream is?
And then put some lemon in it and stir it up.
Oh, God, that's disgusting. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Oh, my gosh. No. I'm just vetoing all of that, okay? Because we're moving on to
fine.
The American Airlines sketch, which was super short. And I loved it. But have you been in this situation? This is what I loved about this sketch. It highlighted a thing that Black people do that we don't actually need white folks to know about, which is we will call a customer service line over and over and over until we get a Black representative.
Right. And we want them to give us the hookup.
That is how I have gotten my cable bill, my Verizon bill. All of my bills have been handled and appropriately addressed because I have called until I got a Black representative.
Okay, now is this a factor? You guys who are in the chat room, please chat it up. I want you guys to tell us everything. Like, if you do that, if you know somebody that does that, if you believe in that. But yes, and the funny thing is that, Quinta, her character, she was really feeding everything. She was like, yes, girl, like, that's my cousin. Oh, my girl. Yes. No, I'm not going to change the flight. Have a good day. It's like, I'm not going to, at the end of the day, I'm not going to help you. And it's just like, we got to stop looking for the hookup, y'all.
No, okay, so we probably should stop looking for the hookup, but I'm not. And also, come on, Black customer service reps, help a sister out.
But you know what was so interesting? The fact that, it was like American Airlines.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
we will not comment.
Was a message there, but we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on. The next sketch that I love, this was my favorite sketch of the show, On My Own.
Oh my God.
Featuring the legendary Patti LaBelle. Yes, thank you. I actually wore this outfit because I wanted to reflect the colors of Patti's ensemble that she wore in the sketch.
Killed it. On my own.
This wasn't how it was supposed to be. On my own. I wish that. All right. Okay. Sorry. We legitimately.
Yes!
Thank you. We legitimately spent the 10 minutes before we started singing that song. So,
yes, we did, for sure.
So the premise of this is that Ashley's boyfriend is breaking up with her. She's trying to get him to stay, but every time she breaks up, Patti LaBelle shows up and makes her and sings On My Own until
she sings.
Ashley sings along with it.
But see, I was trying to figure that. I was like, what does she want her to do? And I felt like she just wanted her to tell the guy, okay, bye. I'm done.
I think she wanted her to sing along, but particularly to sing that song, that line. There's one line, and I have faith that I will shine again. I think she was waiting for her to sing that line.
Before that, she was begging him.
But I think that what Patti was doing was like the reason that Patti is there, she's that voice in your head that takes you through the whole process of a breakup, which is you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be over. But then eventually you get to, I'm gonna have faith that I'll be fine. And so I love that they did that with a song, not only a song, but a song that everybody knows,
right?
With a legend. Yes. The number of legends who have been on this show.
Yes.
Lorraine Toussaint, Marla Gibbs,
Angela Bassett,
Jack Hay. What now, Patti? Oh, y'all.
But see, Patti is like that. Is like that auntie that just gets you right. So like she sits you down. Listen, baby, let me tell you, okay? Because what you need to know is, even though he's leaving you, you're gonna be okay. Because on your own, you're gonna make it okay. All you have to do is just have, like, literally. And then it's like, I think about the Patti. You know, I think about the sweet potato pie. You know, because your auntie feeds you after she gets you talking to you, or while she's talking to you, she's feeding you.
Yeah.
So it's just,
it's perfect.
Right? Yeah. It was, but it was like. Also, to speak, the dude was like, I don't know if I want to break up with you now. Like, Patti LaBelle's gonna come out and
you got a Patti connection.
Listen,
right.
Which is, I hate to say that, but I kind of felt like it was shading the idea. If you know how sometimes when people know who you connected to, they're like, oh yeah, girl, listen, we're gonna work this out.
Right. And they really ain't gonna, use their connections. My favorite moment in that sketch was Ashley's talking to Patti, like, trying to get her to go away, and dude is in the background like,
yes, he is. Listen, he is totally feeling the whole Patti LaBelle.
Hollering.
And then the background singers just pop out.
Background singers. Okay, first of all,
it.
Like I said, my dream is to have backup singers, like a little gospel choir, follow me around and sing little accents to whatever I'm doing in my life. And so if I could have, look, I'm working on it. I just bought some maracas when I was in Mexico last week. I got a tambourine. I got instruments for everybody. If you want to be one of my backup singers for my life, holla at your girl. So that was my favorite sketch of the show, I think. And then we go into the next apocalypse, little apocalypse scenario, which was them playing dominoes, and they're wrapping up the game, and then Ashley's like, they're gonna watch Glee, because she made the point that she decided that the hill she wanted to die on was that all of the Glee covers. Oh no, this was Quinta who said all the Glee covers are better than the originals. I agree. I'm sorry, them Glee kids can sing.
They can't, especially Amber Riley. Like, I love her. What? She just listens. She just gets you right. Just all in here. All in here.
Take a song that you didn't even think could have soul in it, and just put her foot all up in the song. All in it. So I loved that. I love that their whole conversation, even in the end times, we're at the apocalypse, they're still having the same conversations that we have when we sit around with our girls. Yeah. So like the world ending is not going to change anything, people. It brings the world together. It brings us together. And
it brings things into perspective. I think that the idea of talking about things that we see as the end of the world, I like how, like, they're actually putting things into perspective. They're trying to educate us, but at the same time, it's like, if everything else failed, like, what really matters at the end of the day?
Right. You and your girls.
That's why it's called The Event.
The Event, right, and I can't wait to find out what it is. And then the last sketch of the night of the episode was Inside a Black Lady's Mind, Catcalling.
That was...
It was so real. Okay, because there were three voices in her head, the Taskmaster, Insecurity, and Turnt. And here's the reality. Okay, I'm going to just admit this to you guys. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from South Jersey, Philadelphia area. On the East Coast, I got hollered at on the regular, okay? I don't get hollered at in LA. And I kind of miss it.
Listen.
But the truth is, catcalling is horrible and it's annoying and I can't stand it. And also, I kind of miss it.
I mean, I don't like catcalling just because I just feel like it's just rude and disrespectful. And I feel like there's other ways. And again, of course, it all goes with maturity, because everybody finds their own way of how they like to be called into. Or that's we're going to call it the word approach. But at the end of the day, I think, like, it's true. Like, you kind of go through okay, I don't want to seem desperate, but at the same time, I also want to let the guy know that I'm interested. But then you don't want to seem like you're too interested, because, then, like, that'll turn him away. It's just all these things that we go through. The things that you have to think whenever about. Whenever we see somebody that's attractive.
True. It's really true. Like, we do have this ridiculous thought process that we go through about, like, do I look okay? Is this a good time? Do I want to stop? No, I'm in a hurry. Oh my gosh, let me make sure I put a little swing in my step. We do all of this. And it does sort of beg the, like they even talk about, like, look, we could open a magazine and be told that we are not what you want. So we don't really need the validation from men on the street. And yet, there is some tiny part of us that likes the validation a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird balance thing to have to figure out. Like the feminist in me is like, don't catcall me. But the insecure, like, wants to be attractive part of me is like, he noticed me.
I mean, but honestly, I kind of feel like it just depends on what stage you are in your life, like how you want to be approached. And it was funny when like the insecure and the turn was kind of like getting together, and so she was just looking like a robot, just trying to walk down the street, which absolutely was so funny. But then at the end of the day, he was like he at first he noticed her, but then I don't really know, because when she started walking and she actually had her skirt was
like, what he really noticed was
like, ma'am, your skirt
is stuck in your drawers,
and she was like, oh, I'm just all the way embarrassed.
But what I loved it, he was like, you don't feel that? And
that was so disrespectful.
I love Quinta's question: what happens to a twerk unnoticed?
It dies.
I mean, doesn't part of your soul die if your twerk doesn't get noticed? Oh my gosh. All right, so let's move on to our special segment. We are talking today, because the show features Black women in comedy, we want to educate you guys, make sure you guys know all the amazing people out there, amazing Black women in comedy. And tonight we're featuring the amazing Kim Coles.
Yes.
Kim Coles, who was one of the stars of Living Single, which they actually talked about on this episode. They talked about Living Single was better than Friends, obviously. We also sang the theme song to that before the show started because we know it. And so Kim Coles, amazing stand-up comedian, comedic actress. I had the pleasure of getting to see her live about a year ago.
Wow.
She's still out there, still kicking it, still doing it. She also has an amazing coaching program on her website. So if you're looking to sort of up your game in this business or just in life, check out Kim Coles, because she's still out here. She's still killing it. She's amazing. Because Black women are funnier than everyone else. Thank you.
She's so funny.
Nima, do we have any news we want to talk about?
Listen, your girl has some news, okay? We have some news. Let's talk about our girl, Quinta Brunson, who is from Philly herself. Now, first of all, I don't know if you guys remember, but Quinta actually started a series on Instagram called The Girl Who Has Never Been on a Nice Date. And so the first post that she did was about a date that a guy took her out, and he spent like $13.95 for a movie ticket. Like, oh, he got money. So she actually called up with a magazine company, HuffPost, and she talked a little bit about how she got started. She is actually getting a chance to be able to do more things on the internet, but again, of course, we're living in a time where social media is such a big thing, and so she kind of talked a little bit more about it. From her doing The Girl Who's Never Been on a Nice Date, she actually got an opportunity to be on with not AfterBuzz TV. It was actually BuzzFeed. Yeah. She actually started her own TV show. She wrote, produced, and filmed it. And then from there, of course, we saw her in 2016, where she was on a web series called Broke. And she also got a chance to be able to do some TV pilots. And then from there, she did CW's iZombie. But A Black Lady Sketch Show is actually one of Quinta's first star shows. So we want to definitely give Quinta Brunson a shout out, and just to say, well, congratulations. So, I mean, she's killing the game. Again, you guys never know where your career actually starts. But, I mean, it's funny to see that we already saw her on Instagram, like, from being a star. And just to, say, hey, guys, whatever you're doing, whether it's comedy, acting, whatever, you just got to take that first step and kind of do it on your own, and you see what happens. Yeah,
it's so awesome to see where people end up, because I remember that first sketch she did. It went viral. It went viral, and she has been out here killing it ever since. I have been following her ever since then, and I'm so happy for you, Quinta. Keep killing it,
Keep
girl.
killing the game.
All right. We don't really have predictions to make.
Okay, no, yes we do. Because I want to think about
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
We have music for that.
We can still have predictions. Okay, so listen.
Let's do it.
So our predictions will be, what would you guys want to see them do? Like, what other type of sketch?
What have they not taken on?
They haven't done like a girl group yet.
They have not.
They have not done a girl group, right? I want to see a girl group, and I also want to see them try to do a guy group. I want to see them do like a gangster scene.
Well, they did do a gangster scene last episode with the girl gang with all the pink. That was cute.
The girl gang, but I mean like a real a real, like Kane and Kane from Menace to Society.
Okay.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
I would like to see them tackle Beyonce. I don't think they haven't done any Beyonce yet. I would love to see them. I would love to see them do like a Beyonce Rihanna, because you know how Beyonce and Riri fans are like, who's the best? I'd love to see them play with that.
For sure.
I'd love to see them play. They've
Cardi
already
B and Nicki Minaj.
They've touched on that. I'd love to see them go hard on that. So what would you guys like to see them tackle?
Yes.
I mean, there's so much awesome stuff in pop culture. There's so much awesome stuff in Black culture. I would love to see them in church more. We did get to see them in church for the church open mic. That was hilarious a couple episodes ago. So there's so much more. This show is going to be on forever because Black people are the font of all things awesome. Am I allowed to say that? Anyway, there's so many things that we're going to talk about. I cannot wait for the next episode. We will be here on YouTube next Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Neema, where can people find you on the social medias?
Find me at NeedmSkye, NeedmSkye on all social media platforms.
And you can find me, Nikki Bailey _ on all the social media platforms. Guys, it's been a pleasure to hang out with you. We will see you next week here at AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.